So now we're going to talk about when you have to hook an AED up, when you're doing CPR or when you have somebody else come in with an AED that's going to help you out. A few things that you have to take into consideration is if you're going to hook up the AED and you're in a wet environment, you have to make sure that you do a splash test on the ground before you hook up the pads to the person. If you do a splash test and the ground is wet but doesn't make a splash, you're okay to go ahead. But if it does make a splash, you've actually got to move the person away from that and get them out of the pool of water or whatever it is that they're in. So a lot of people think that when you hook up an AED and it delivers the shock, it's like it is on TV where if the person's flatlined, they're actually going to jump start the heart. But that's not how it works. The only way that the AED is going to deliver a shock is if there is an actual rhythm going on with the heart. So if the heart's beating too fast or it's beating too slow, that's when it's going to deliver the shock. So it's actually just resetting that rhythm. So if the person has experienced bradycardia or tachycardia, that's when things are going to happen. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see is people just pull the AED out and they just start plugging everything in and going ahead with it. But there's a few steps that you have to take first. So when you take the AED out of the kit, it's also going to come with a towel and a razor. Because if the person has a really hairy chest, you actually have to shave the chest before you put the pads on. Because if the pads don't stick directly to the skin, then it's not going to get a proper reading and be able to deliver the proper shock. The other thing that you have to do is once you get the clothes off, if it's a woman who has an underwire bra on, then you've actually got to cut that off because it'll leave a burn mark where the wires were. Same thing if there's any jewelry in the way, or if they've got a nicotine patch or any kind of patch that's in the pathway where the pads go, then it's going to leave a burn mark. So once you're ready to go, just actually pull the machine out and turn it on.
This is a training device only.
And it's going to tell you everything
delivered. Remove clothing from person's chest.
So if they had clothing on, I would take it off.
Attach pads firmly to person's chest.
And you'll notice the pads have pictures of where they're supposed to go.
Plug-in connector. Analyzing rhythm. Everyone stand clear.
So you have to stand clear because if you're doing compressions, it's going to read that instead of the actual heart rhythm.
Shock advised. Charging. Everyone stand clear.
So you have to make sure whoever's doing CPR is standing clear.
Everyone stand clear. Push button to shock.
Because now,
Shock delivered. Begin
we deliver
2
that
minutes
shock.
of CPR.
Once you deliver that shock, if somebody was touching the body, they would also get shocked. So you've got to make sure that they're standing clear. So in this case, it is like the movies. When the shock gets delivered, you'll actually see the body bounces up a little bit. And then the AED is going to say, continue doing CPR, and it's going to time it out. And after 2 minutes go by, it's going to reanalyze the heart to see if anything's going on. And if it doesn't read that there's a rhythm, it's just going to say, no shock advised, continue doing CPR. So make sure that either you or the person you're working with goes back to doing the 30 compressions to 2 breaths for 2 minutes and just keep following the directions. And then the only time that we would stop is if more help arrives, for instance, if the paramedics show up to give you a hand.